artist. I wander towards you, unsure and excited, fiercely delighted, but not fearless. The edge of the unknown is not a safe home. Courage comes at a threshold, a whole fresh beyond, a familiar song never heard before. Artist, sing to me of inklings, of your desires and motivations, how to get out of the mud of stagnation, procrastination. Teach me the ways of wonder that I may weather despair. When so much seems unfair and maddening and tragic, help me remember how to tender the flames of my name, lest I watch my fire grow dim in the din of a world too loudly clamoring. Artist, there is a succubus of attention living in my pocket. Let me safeguard my senses, my ability to be wholly focused on the intricacies of moss, the impossibility of sand, how I will vacuum once boulders out of my car cushions after a journey to the ocean, how the ocean always makes me cry and my tears are ocean flavored. Let me worship at the altar of wonder, that I might understand how to savor this life while my mouth still has tales to tell about the smell of jasmine, the soft fur of a beast who could rip my throat out, but instead lays a soft head on my lap. The eyes that look back at me in the mirror, miraculous reflectors of light that are never quite green or brown, the smooth beauty of a hazelnut that could birth an entire tree or end up in my tummy. How some things are just funny, how it feels to laugh, how laughing long enough turns my eyes into overflow valves. Artist, thank you for showing me the relief of releasing pain into a piece. How many of us you save from drowning. Artist, thank you for this crowning, this birthing, this opening of yourselves, these new worlds, my pink lobes, my red chest. I am blessed by your invitation to meet you at the precipice of your creation and my imagination in the space between here and oblivion. We dream together. And it is now my pleasure to introduce Jud Turner, one of the owners of the Oblivion Gallery.
Clicker. So top?
That's your button.
Okay, that's my friend.
Don't press the top.
All right, don't press the top button. Thank you all for coming out. It's an honor to have you share art and words with us today. And I'll talk a little bit about my work that's here in our group exhibition, Wonder Tender. So I've got two trees that I call oracle trees, and the idea of the oracle trees is they're present. They're showing some symbols of past and symbol of future. So the tree itself has all these intersections where it branches off into two different directions. And our past can be seen that way. There's all these choice points in your past where it branched off and you took one branch, but the other branch exists somewhere. And as we get older, those trees and all of those choice points and branches grow and grow and grow. And so that was the thinking behind these trees for the theme of Wonder Tender. And then each tree is tipped with a crystal ball as fruit. Looking into the future, the crystal ball, maybe it can help you guide your next decision point when you come to that next juncture in life. So those are the oracle trees, a small one and a large one. And then my other two pieces that are a contribution to this theme are the divine feminine pieces. So this is a series that I've been doing for a couple of years just to celebrate divine feminine power. And what better show to celebrate divine feminine power than a show that I got to be included in, The Dude, with these 4 amazing women who embody so much beauty and power and potency. It's just a real special part of my creative process to get to share this space with them and be invited into it. So these divine feminine pieces seem to fit that. So this is the most recent one. This is the Medusa Gorgon. And in learning about the Medusa legend, one of the interesting facets of that was the Black Medusa, that there is a belief and a theory that the Greek legend of the Medusa was based on Greeks encountering black women who had great big dreadlock hairstyles and interpreting those as snakes, and that the old Medusa legend, she was much more of a revered goddess and not the monster that we've turned her into in our legends. So divine feminine. So thank you for coming out, and I will turn it over to our next artist, Sandy Brown Jensen.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sandy Brown Jensen, and we'll move on. That's my name. Let's just like rock it for a second. So I'm showing this is my, that kind of jewelry box back there. It's all my work, and it's divided into 2 parts, and you'll see the little signs, and one is called I Dream in Gold, and that's the wonder side on the left where I am, and on the right is this collection called Where Memories Softly Fall, and that's all cold wax. I'll explain a little bit. So this is one of my keynote pieces, not very old, a month at the most. So the dream in gold is wonder. Just explain the process. Let's see if I still have it in my pocket. The way this works is that I'm a multimedia artist, so I start with the photograph that I've taken, and then I do multimedia magic, sometimes in my journal, sometimes using Procreate or something like that, compiling. But ultimately it gets printed on lumina film, we call it, and then back with 24 karat gold. And, well, this is silver, this is gold, that's silver. And you'll see one back there that's the one of the abandoned labyrinth, which is silver. And I can just pass those around, you guys can feel them, because it's a little unusual. People look at it and say, what am I looking at? Also, on the gilded side, you'll see a lot of ravens. And if you know me, you know kind of that big raven in the corner. It's my signature raven. And I have to tell you the little story about that. I was at the seat ahead, the overlook where you park to get that calendar shot of the lighthouse. My husband and I met there at the lightkeeper's house, so it's special to us, so I always take pictures, kind of sappy. But one day it was kind of chilly. I was staying in my car, I got my Subaru pulled right up next to the barrier. So I'm like, the barrier is there, I'm here, I got my cell phone up taking pictures of the lighthouse, and suddenly that big raven just like landed on the barrier. I mean, just like, bang. And then went out and came back, and went out and came back. And so that's a cell phone shot from my car. You have to see it. So it's a magical place for me many times over. And each of the other ravens has a story as well. The other collection is dedicated to my sister, who passed a couple of years ago. The very last thing she said to me, I wasn't able to be there for her actual passing, but I was there a couple of days ahead of time, so we knew it was the end. And she must have planned it, but the last thing she says, Sandy, whenever you see a raven, I'll be there. It's like goosebumps. It's like, but wait, nope, that's it, I'm out the door, And of course, ravens now, I was at the Redwoods at the ones that are just down over the border.
Prairie Creek.
Jedediah Smith. Where Jedediah Smith, where the Grove of Titans is. And I went in there in a moody day, rainy, by myself, no other tourists, and this raven started to follow me. It came right into the grove of titans and started to perch on the various, scenic limbs, So you'll see one called Mistos, which is the raven of the titans. So all my photographs and artwork have stories. And I'm going to plan a couple days where I come to the gallery here and just walk people through and tell the stories. Because I'm a storyteller too, this is don't touch the top one, Sandy, okay?
Other way.
That's the dumb one.
Well,
There you go.
there's the fox. Yes. Some of you saw this Hermerigold heart, which I have both in gold and in cold wax. You might have seen it at Bob Kern's art show at the Day of the Dead show. This again is my sister underneath there. It's blonde. When I got the idea for this photograph or artwork, I was in Australia visiting. You'll see the kangaroos over there. And so I texted my husband and said, could you run out in the garden and take pictures of the marigolds with your cell phone? I'm going to need a lot of marigold pictures. So he went out and got all these pictures, which then I was able to bring into my software and start piling on top of my sister to represent it. She had a green burial, and I wanted to represent marigolds because marigolds are the flower that the dead are drawn to. So when the spirits come close to us, in November 2nd at the Day of the Dead, they come very close. They're drawn by the smell of marigolds. If you've ever smelled marigolds, you kind of understand why maybe the dead prefer more than us. But just a word about cold waxing. Hot wax is encaustic, where you dump hot wax and then you take a blow dryer or something like it and you move wax around. And I did that and I said, I don't want to spend my life with a blow dryer in my hand. Not for me. But then through that I learned about cold wax, which actually you warm in your hands, and you apply it with your hands, and it goes way down inside the holes of watercolor paper and makes this wonderful surface, almost like an old master's feel to it. You'll see. And what I love is that, of course I'm in love with my pictures, and I can sit there at my desk with my headphones on, and I'm just rubbing and admiring my work, and of course all the happy vibes go inside of it as well. Which I think is worth something right there. And it gives it a wonderful surface. And you'll notice that they don't have glass, and that's because cold wax is its own archival surface. It breathes, it's there long after you and I are long gone and generations past. So you don't need to put a glass between you and the art. Gold is very, well, it lasts forever, but it's also somewhat fragile. I mean, it's like, it's leaf, So I put glass on that to protect the artwork. But you can tell the difference in my work between those. Okay, so, no, too soon for the thank you. All right, I must have accidentally hit the up button. There we go. Yeah, this is just to give you some ideas. On my desk, the fox is down, and I'm starting to apply that gold. And you can see the seams between the squares. They're like 3 by 3. A fox, like those major big pieces back there on the gold side, have about $300 worth of gold leaf on them. And getting the leaf on is not for the faint of heart. It takes, it's so thin that you have to use your squirrel hair brush, because squirrel hair doesn't have the static. And so you can release from squirrel hair and pick it up, but then you have to use your breath to place things. I tell you, if you don't want to sneeze, you don't want to sigh, you don't want to just go, oh, rats, because it's a very centering kind of work. You cannot move. It's just, that's how it is. Well, it's lots of fun, if you like that. Not for everybody. Why is... no. I hit the back button. Do I have it? There we go. Up in the far corner up there, you can see kind of a double boiler situation. That's my cold wax. And I boil the water in the kitchen, and then I put that ceramic bowl on top of it to melt the wax, and then I haul it into my studio. So there's no open flames, or it's just hot water. And that, you can see my brush. I'm dipping the wax in there. The third one, the middle one, is the Quiet Heart. Some beautiful grasses in a heart shape that I found up at Pisgah in the summer. You can see the brush is putting on the cold wax of the first layer that's warmed. And then the next picture is using a microfiber cloth. And then, I don't have a picture, but you finish it off with the chamois, just like you use for a car. So there I'm working on a big piece. That's the maples in Pisgah at that end, and then I have everything framed at Vistra. They do a great job for me. And that's her marigold heart. And then here's all the prints that I have in my print rack that are getting ready to be put into archiving. That's kind of the process of my studio. Okay, I am pushing backwards. Okay. Hello, that's very nice. Shauna. Well, let me talk about Shauna's work. Anyway, I don't need no sticky pictures now. I got them out here. What I want to say about the ones in the tender section, it's called Memories, Where Memories Softly Fall. Every single one has a story. And they're all about the connection between this world and the other world. Not necessarily the dead world, but the world of mushrooms. Like how you have to, when you go mushroom hunting, and you have to get kind of lost before you can start. Anybody have that experience? It's like I don't find mushrooms until I get kind of lost, and suddenly there they are. So to me, that's also the boundary with the other world. It's kind of a fairy world or something. It's elf-like. So I have many stories along there. And again, I'd like to invite you to come back. We'll announce it through the newsletter that Jud puts out, and just walk you through some of the stories that are behind them. I wanted to put the stories, on big cards, and I was told it wouldn't look good. They are all in a book that I have back there, a portfolio book, but I know it's hard to stand around and read. But anyway, thank you for your attention. I hope you enjoy the show.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Well, this one. And also this one. Okay. Here we go.
Oh. My work is much less about the physical aspect of it, and it's just much more of an emotional process for me, because if you were to watch me paint, it's the most boring thing in the world. It's a bunch of teeny tiny paintbrushes on giant canvases, and I wish I could paint faster. Because what I've also discovered in this series of Wonder Tender is that it's going to be, it may very well be a lifelong series, but it's definitely going to be a few year series. Because what I've discovered and what I realized when the idea of Wonder Tender came to me was that there were all these unexcavated parts of myself that needed tending to. And before the show, I joked around with my friends saying that I'm just going to stand up here and cry for my artist talk. And that might very well be part of this journey with you all.
Private tissues right here.
Thank you. Yes, this piece started with this one here, titled Wonder Tender. And as she came about, she began as a version of little me at 3 years old, and I was going off of old photographs. And as I continued to paint her, I realized she was taking on, she felt like
some of my living ancestors, my sister, my daughter, my nieces. She just felt like many that I know that are living now. But there was also something ancient feeling about her that felt like an ancestor coming through that just was demanding their portrait be painted on a panther. So yeah, there were some really interesting things that came about in this whole process, and realizing there's so many that we have access to that are not just about this idea that we just want to paint and put down on canvas and create imagery around. Yeah, like I said, this whole process, and what I know now more of my process, especially in the last 5 years that some of these have been created with more depth in the layers, is that we have access to so much more than just the things that we can see around us. And yeah, it's just really deepened my entire life process with myself, with my ancestors gone. And I feel like there was a lot of healing that happened and occurred and is still occurring with this process, with my ancestors, with myself now, and with generations to come. Yeah, there's so much that I could say about this piece in particular, but I feel like the story is still forming, because part of the creative process for me is just, it feels like it's a gestation process, like everything's kind of forming. It feels very womb-like. It feels like this being, this creature is like coming to life, and then it's not fully formed until sometimes long after the paint has dried. But once a painting and a piece is complete, I feel like that's the birthing process. That's when it becomes truly alive and is allowed to take on life of its own, once it's no longer mine in that very personal, deep process of creating it. So that's what I'm going to say for now as far as Wonder Tender. And the next one, I'm going to read something that I wrote, which is about guardians of the unsung plane. Oh, yes. Jorah wrote a poem for this.
I felt you on the roll there.
But I want to stay in the Wonder Tender while it's her time. Give her full time. Yeah, so these poems that I will share both with this painting and the next one are, it's something that's often called ekphrastic poetry, meaning that it is a poem written directly in conversation with a painting. The painting is in essence the prompt. There's many ways to approach this. I had the extra good just experience of getting to also be in deep friendship love with the painter and to know a lot of her intention, which often when you write ekphrastically, you don't get to interact with the poet. You are simply interacting with the art itself. So I got this is a double dip here. And it was my great honor and joy to write this poem. We meet her in the middle of the story. Made memories, ahead adventures. Time travels simply in her satchel. Her path, not ours to know, leaves us free to wander. Not alone, self-directed. She is protected and protecting the little bear, the big cat who sees perfectly at night, messenger friends ready for flight and return. She has learned much since being born into a blanket of butterflies. If you have a crayon, you can color your most vivid affections, draw dreams, frame hope. It's always a good idea to carry rope and extra water and magic crystals. She knows her tools. She does not need words to tell us. If ever a precious part of you gets lost or stolen, there is a wholeness waiting in a painting. With a brush, you can reclaim what is untamed and tender. She rarely needs to defend herself anymore. We meet her in the middle of the story, already fierce as a lace dress with hiking boots. A girl loyal to herself walks in the power of wonder. New worlds unfurl under her feet. We meet her centered, writing the story as she goes.
Oh my gosh, Twinny, putting words to all the many feelings that I have around that is just magic. Thank you, Jorah LaFleur, one of Eugene's favorite writers and poets. And yes, my dear, dear friend and my birthday twin. So, okay, and now for the next piece, nerves, okay. And this one's to Guardians of the Unsung Plane. There was a time I needed to know that truth could not be destroyed. That even when twisted, buried, or spoken over, it lived somewhere safe, held by unseen guardians. Waiting for the moment the world could hear it clearly again. This painting began as that prayer. In the wake of lies spun to erase and divide, I painted a place for what couldn't be silenced. In its making, I came to feel what deep down I already knew. That truth is patient, it endures, it will find its way home. As this piece deepened, I felt the story of my Osage lineage woven through it. My family's resilience became my own, rooting me in the promise that what is real will always rise, and what was meant to be known will always return to light. And another from Jorah.
Shanna is quite a poet, even though it's not always something that she is acknowledged for, but I've been saying it a lot lately. Just the titles are so good. Guardians of the Unsung Plane. You wait all year to hear properly what the dahlias have whispered through the winter. A truth buried is not gone, but waiting. Truth has a steady gaze, poised and ready to fly, to pounce, to announce itself in this world and beyond. If the sound of your song has been denied by lies or exclusion, if your told tale's conclusion has come with burn or ban, trust there is a land where it has stayed safe, intact, where facts are preserved steadily while readying, the earth drinks blood and remembers. Call it history, herstory, ancestry. Our story is alive and growing, as aboving, so belowing. Roots deep means branches keep reach. Have you seen the sun cry for them? Have you had a knowing? Some wings make windows showing words the flight path of a throat. Some trees leave open doors to explore what your forebears wrote that remained unclaimed until your name came into existence. Truth is a persistent queen, serving between realms. Truth wears a helm, a crown of petals stronger than metal. Bulbs are patient blossoms. Underground, unseen, alive as flame. The unsung plain is not a cemetery of silence. Erasure has no place here. The thing that happened to your mother or brother or grandparent, to your family, your people, your nation, to yourself, it happened. Even if no one else has been told, there is a golden nest where truth rests, well tended, well guarded by claws and beak. Have you heard a raven speak the way a phoenix rises? Some eyes are always watchful for the moment. Come the time of soar, come the music of a roar, echoed future now before. Your truth is a wonder.
Oh, how am I supposed to talk after that? That was so beautiful. Now for Ashbourne. From the ashes beneath my skin to the barefoot child, still gathering stories in the woods. I promise to paint you later, over and over and over again, in all your glorious unearthed forms. I'll help us remember. And I will continue to paint us into power. This began as a painting for little me and now belongs to all the Ashbourne. For all of us who remember the scorch, yet choose to bloom anyway. This is the returning of the heart that once bent to survive, the soft animal of innocence reclaiming its own worth, the ancient knowing that love has never been something to earn. I will paint every single shape you trusted the dark to hold.
So this is our last collaborative piece. I'll move on to our next wonderful artist. So the thing is, this poem is this piece is so fresh. Shanna finished it last week, I believe. Woo! Hey! And this poem is so fresh that it's not finished. So here is what I thought we would do. If you are, well, I'll set it up this way. A month from today, if you would like to come back to the gallery again at 2 o'clock, these beautiful artists will be here. Their work will still be up, and I will be offering a workshop on the subject of ekphrastic poetry, inviting you you do not have to be a writer, none of that, but just inviting you to experience coming into conversation with some of these works through writing. So that is something that we can do together. If you can't make it next month, let's get into it right now. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna need. We're gonna January 3rd, thank you, very good. January 3rd, first Saturday,
2 p.m.
2 p.m., amazing, okay. So the thing is, I think we could freestyle a little bit together here right now. This is an S poem. It might lend, there's a couple things written that might come into it, but okay, so you've heard Shanna speak, you've got the painting in front of you. Someone give me a word or word pairing that comes out of your mouth from your heart right now.
Burn Morels.
Burn Morels? Okay, I got burn and I've got Morels. Love it. What else? What's another word?
Motion.
Cosmic motion. Love it.
Dear heart.
Dear heart. Yes. Yes, friend.
Bliss and abyss.
Bliss and abyss. Ooh. See how this evolves? We'll probably do some group process together at the workshop, but then you'll get to go off on your own as well. The problem is going to be there's too much good art in here to choose from. But yeah, awesome. Okay, let's get like more words.
Butterfly.
Whoa.
Butterfly portal.
Ooh, butterfly portal. Denise, Christine, what'd you get?
Fragile details.
Fragile details. Whew, okay, so this one may go, we don't know where this one's gonna go. Go some places. Yeah, let's see what happens. Oh wait, this is butterfly portal. Okay, sorry, and usually I'm not the best with not having a stand in front of me. I'm such a teacher. I'm like, where's all my tools? I need a whiteboard. Okay. Let's see. Okay, everybody help. Send me your free flow juju. Here we go. Okay. Ooh. Born from the flames of a name that came from a whole group of wonder tenders, we went on a bender together in this beautifully sober space. We opened butterfly portals. We are mortal, maybe. I don't know. Let's see how it goes today. I hope that we turn and burn in realms beyond this one. We are all in cosmic motion, Earth always turning. I think there is some kind of space lotion dripping down on these walls. I hear the call of so many hours, the power of creativity here welded onto walls. Do you hear the call too? Into the abyss, through the channel of bliss or pain. Sometimes they are almost the same. Art that came from horror, art that came from beauty, art that gave us a way forward towards something different when we needed change so badly that we were willing to be reduced to ash when we could no longer stay in the past without suffocating. Please, morel me. Tell me more about the taste of freedom. I have become unfond of fawning for your comfort, chasing your attention. Why do I look to you when the universe lives inside me? Innocence is a birthright. Let our hearts never part from curiosity. No matter how far I roam, I can call myself home inside a ring that sings of resurrection. That which begins in flame does not always end in ash. Good job, guys. Go team. Fabulous. So good. Before introducing our next artist, I wanted to let everybody know that we have a raffle going on in the back to support. All the funds raised for that will be in support of Jorah's next creative projects and printing. And all the information is in the back there. We have raffle tickets for $5, and you receive stickers, and a beautiful printed version of the Wonder Tender poem. So after our artist, we take a look. And next up we have Miss Renee Mahni, one of the other gallery owners.
The only button you need, that's it.
Ooh, take a breath here. This is like, we have a gallery full of amazing work right now. This is beautiful, and thank you everyone for being here. This is, whew, wow. So exciting. So what was that, wearing work boots and your hiking boots with your lace dress? So this is Wonder Tender is my home frequency here. Like, when I'm in the gallery, you'll often see me, I give my little girl space to play, like here in the gallery. So I will be playing dress up every time. So I always have a good time that way when we're down at the other end in welding gear and all dirty and playing with the pigs. It's a different scene. So let's see. This is my first piece here, The Crossing. It's over there. I had a vision for this piece, and I started this piece probably back in the summer. I had no idea what Shanna was making. And when she released her piece of a little girl riding an ally, and it was just like we're connecting on a different plane that you can't explain. And that's part of the frequency of this show, is to feel into the unseen and feel into your heart and all those deep, dark spaces that your ego can't explain. Like, let that part live and breathe and she's taking the wisdom of her life, or of many lifetimes, and she's making that crossing. Confident, riding her ally forward, taking everything that's come with her from behind, moving forward. And she has, we have some quartz angels on either side guiding the way, just going for it, having no idea, but moving forward. The crossing from this life to the next, from phase to phase, interpreted many different ways. This next piece assemblage over there, Wonder Tender Friends. This dragon I've used in several pieces. He's bigger now, or she's bigger in this piece, and they continue, this little girl as an avatar. They're having, their relationship is evolving, and in this one, they're in this strange land with rock cairns along the way to just mark they're on the right path. Even when you can't necessarily explain it, you're on the right path. And to be with those friends along the way that understand you, where it feels like home, and you're there, and you're in this strange balance together, and looking into the mystery of the egg and the unborn, and holding it together, just being. And then this next piece, same girl, she's being held up by the hands of infinity, up from the beyond. And it's meant to look like it was carved out of sand. It was a tribute to a sculpture I saw as a little girl of this enormous sand castle sculpture in a mall. And it was 2 stories high. It was like beyond, they carved it out of sand. And to take this piece of, she's holding the butterflies, there's angels mixed in there, guarding the transformation from death to life to rebirth to all the transformations we go through. And she's comfortable with the death and the cycle of all of it. She's not afraid. She's sitting there confident, curious, holding all of it in this form of carved in sand, that it's come together and it will all fall apart. And as life. And this last piece is in the room in there. It's called Guardian Angels. It's a little hard to see right here, but take a look at it in there. It's an old ancient tree. And there's a guardian angel up top. She's watching over the entire scene. And there's these 6 baby deer sleeping that each represent an energy that the deer spirit brings. And there's 13 angels hidden in the scene, bringing forth energies of 13 different archangels. Just they're feeling into that angel energy that you can't see them necessarily, but they're always having that feeling that something's watching over you and guiding you in this life, protecting you. Feel into that. And then the dragonfly transformation, all bathed in moonlight of this ancient tree. So there's little close-ups of these little sleeping deer. It's really sweet. Go take a closer look. So thank you so much. Thank you for coming to play with us and see the art.
All right, folks, before we disassemble, I have one final piece for you. This is the prayer of the Wonder Tender. I wanted to offer something concise enough that if you so choose, you can take it home with you. It's back there. And just to really leave with a focus on each of us in our own individual place. If you want to close your eyes, you're welcome to. Do you? Maybe take an extra good breath. Into the arms of uncertainty, I tender my surrender. I give over my tight fists, my schedules and lists, amidst the falling leaves and sprouting seeds. I lay down the burden of feigned control. Just for this moment, let me breathe in full wonder, under a spell that tells the truth. Let me see proof everywhere that miracle is mundane. Breathe out in the mind-blowing knowing that the self-same atoms flowing from me becomes air food for a plant or a tree. Just for this moment, let there be an opening, a joy thought, a kindling into spark. In dark times, may I tend to the fire of curiosity, be watcher on a winter's night, feeding the light, instance of impeccable noticing, attention to beauty as detail, acts of creation and the appreciation of creation, art's unpredictable persistence. In lost times, the fluid insistence of creative calling is the river I trust to take me home. The way a poem turns to prayer to be returned in fair exchange, a slosh of rain urging flower into bloom. Before I resume my day, let me stay a few beats longer. Let linger be the stronger pull until what is wonderful about this moment consumes me completely, and I sweetly, tenderly acquiesce to awe. Thank you, Wonder Tendas. Oh, and if you'd like a little reminder note about the workshop next month, I've got a list back there, and they've got a list up there.